Welcome back. This is Matt with MS Partners LLC. A lot of people buy vacant land thinking land is land and I can always build on it later. But what most or many buyers don't realize until it's too late is that flood zones and wetlands can completely change the value, usability, and marketability of a property. And in some cases, fixing those issues can cost tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Today, I want to break down the truth about wetlands, flood zones, mitigation costs, and why understanding this before you buy land is absolutely critical. If you enjoy real estate and land investing content like this, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow MS Partners for more real-world land education. First, let's simplify the terms. A flood zone means the property has some level of flood risk according to FEMA maps. A wetland is land that's environmentally protected because it holds water or supports certain vegetation and ecosystems. How about that? Now, here's the important part. Just because land looks dry does not mean it's buildable. I've seen properties that looked perfectly fine in photos, online, even in person. But once you check maps, surveys, and environmental reports, you realize major portions of the land are restricted, and that changes everything. Wetlands and flood zones usually reduce land value because the land it reduces usability. The more uncertainty there is, the fewer buyers you have. Buyers start asking, can I build? Will the county approve permits? Can I get flood insurance? Can utilities even be installed? How much engineering is required? Now, instead of a simple land deal, the buyer is thinking about risk, delays, permits, engineers, environmental consultants, and potentially massive mitigation costs. And understandably, that scares away lots of buyers, which means fewer offers, longer holding times, and lower prices. This is where many landowners get blindsided. Mitigation costs, mitigating, I can't talk today. Mitigating wetlands or flood-related access problems can become extremely expensive. Sometimes you need engineered drainage plans, elevated pads, culverts, special road construction, environmental studies, mitigation credits, or county and state approvals. And depending on the situation, those costs can easily reach into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, like I mentioned, especially on larger properties or properties with difficult access. I've seen landowners assume, I'll just clear a road and build. Understandable, you might think you could do that. But if protected wetland sits between the road and the buildable portion of the property, it becomes a whole different project financially. Now, here's the good news. Wetlands are not always a deal killer. Sometimes the wetlands are pushed towards the back of the property, and you still have plenty of usable acreage near the road. That's a much more manageable situation. You may still have buildable area, legal access, room for utilities, and enough usable land to make the property valuable. But location matters tremendously when it comes to wetlands and flood zones. If the wetland sits right at the front of the property and you have to cross through them just to access the buildable area behind it, that's where costs explode. Because now you're not just dealing with wetlands, you're dealing with infrastructure and access issues too. This is also why these properties often sit on the market for a very long time. Most retail buyers don't understand wetlands. Most investors become cautious, and many banks don't want to finance difficult land or land in general. So sellers end up frustrated, wondering why is nobody making offers? And the answer is usually uncertainty. Land buyers want clarity. The more unknowns attached to a property, the longer it usually takes to sell, right? The lesson here is simple. Never assume land is buildable just because it looks nice online or even in person. Always check flood maps, wetland maps, access, zoning, utilities, and county restrictions before buying. Some properties with wetlands can still be excellent deals. Others can turn into extremely expensive problems. Here at MS Partners, we believe education saves people from costly mistakes. And that's exactly why I make videos like this. If you found this helpful, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below if you've ever dealt with wetlands or flood zone issues on land. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.